Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Where am I at here? Thursday, September 26th, 2024. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Glad you could join us today. Hope you're doing well. Got another great show lined up for you as always. Let me switch this over here. Bada boom! It's another week. It's feeling fallish out there, Mr. Black. We've
I like it.
Reached it. Yes. We've reached that point finally. It took a while to get here, but we did get to it. The days are still, we're still getting reasonably warm days. It's the nights are starting to finally be, like, the sun goes away, and you immediately know that the sun is not there anymore. It's not like the air is not constantly hot, whether the sun is there or not anymore. Now it's just, shit gets cold. Which I like the days, because it's beautiful, but when I have to get up early to take Em into work in the morning, and I step that first step outside the fucking door in the morning, I'm like, ah!
Don't complain, bro, because that real death is coming. This ain't nothing.
The real stuff is coming, I know.
Yeah, don't even complain about what you're feeling right now, bro.
The first morning I have to take that scraper and put it to the window, I'm going to be like just cursing up a storm. It's going to be brutal. But before we get started, of course, Mr. Black, the most important question of the week. How's your week?
It was a good week. Lots of streaming. Lots of, the YouTube stuff we've been doing.
Yes.
That's been keeping me busy. What else is there? I went to the track yesterday. That was my last track day of the season. That was great. And Hot Tub Guys actually just left a couple hours ago.
Good timing.
Everything is pretty much all reset and all that. So I'll be able to enjoy some hot tub action first thing in the morning when it's still that cold out, which is nice.
That's good.
Well, I am. My son has been sick. He went down to the hospital yesterday with Kayla to get X-rays done because he went to the doctors and they wanted to make sure it wasn't pneumonia. He's just got some sort of cough going on, so they got him on a puffer. Kayla's not feeling all that well. So the house is a little bit in shambles.
Yay.
I'm feeling a little run down myself, but not in terms of like sick, I don't think. But I'm just like,
you're just overworked at the moment.
I'm overworked. Yeah, I'm a little burnt out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling it. But it's been a good week. It's been productive. So I can't complain. And then yesterday, I did a podcast with a community member. They had reached out to our email like a while ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll do a podcast. And then remember that it was yesterday, so I did that last night. That'll be released sometime tomorrow, I think.
Oh, dope.
So I did that last night, and it's been an all right week.
Solid.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. But not necessarily from work so much as just haven't slept for like 4 straight fucking days is starting to catch up with me. I can't do that kind of stretch anymore. I don't got my youth to back me up. Yeah. It doesn't work anymore like that. I don't know, when Em has a restless night, it is a restless night, and she had like a good solid 3-peat, and then she wheeled herself directly into a migraine today. So I am fucked up at the moment. Yeah, I was the kind of tired last night where I got really nauseous.
Yeah, I've been there. And it's not fun.
No, so like I was driving her home. I picked her up and we were driving her home, and she wanted to stop to get something to eat on the way home for dinner because it was later than usual. It was like 8:30 instead of like 7 o'clock. And so she wanted to get some sushi, so we stopped in to get some sushi. Driving home, and she started eating it in the car, and she opened that lid, and now I love sushi, but I'm super nauseous, and I caught a whiff of that shit. instantly I was having the mental battle where you're like,
Yeah.
because there's nothing. I know I'm not sick. I don't even have anything in my stomach. I hadn't eaten in like 5 hours. But like I'm so nauseous that it was hitting me like a truck, and the mental game started going like, oh, it's time. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. So I had to roll the window down, and I'm like sucking fresh air out the fucking window and shit, because I'm just trying to get home. I'm the one driving. I just want to get home. And so that was what it was like last night, and then I had to walk it off when I got home. I had to walk that shit off for like a good solid hour and a half. Yeah, so not necessarily from work, just lack of sleep. Last night wasn't as bad, if only because she didn't go into work today, unfortunately because of the migraine, but it did mean that I didn't have to get out of bed at 6, and I could like have broken sleep until later in the morning, which is any amount of sleep is what I needed. So that was good to have. And now we're gonna run off of this incredibly large, overpriced. It's not a cinnamon dolce grande suck your dick sideways Samuel, but it's close. It's just a caramel macchiato with oat milk. Oat milk should not be called oat milk. Can I just say that? It's gonna be called oat beverage. Okay, because there's nothing milk about this shit. It is so dense compared to milk that it will just permanently sit at the bottom of the cup, and you could like James Bond shaken not stirred that shit for fucking ever before your drink actually becomes mixed, and then when you drink it, you're just tasting oat milk. It doesn't mix with anything. It's like oil and water. It's fucked up. But if I get something this big with the amount of cream that they put in this shit, I'd be sent to another dimension. I'd be shitting myself dry for fucking days. I think. Oh, look at how like this is okay. This is a coffee. Look at how light it is. There is almost no coffee in this. I'm drinking almost straight oat milk. It's insane. I've been shaking it constantly. It keeps settling to the bottom.
For what?
But it's just
$7. You had an oat milk drink for $7. Yeah, it's great.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, that's going to keep me going for this. And the StarCraft cast is come. Got to warm myself up, get myself ready to sell out for a new game. And so before we start with this, I just want to thank everyone who did participate in the Ant Legion one, because that shit went hard. People went crazy on that thing. And then we got Jeff set up the Discord. I didn't even know he was going to do this. I literally woke up one morning, a few days ago, and I have a message in my Discord, and it's Jeff that said, "So I'm setting up a Discord." I was like, "Wait, what do you mean you're setting up a Discord?" He said, "We're just going to take over the Ant Legion one." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." And so he was set up all the bots and everything for the Discord to be safe to open the floodgates. And now the Discord has over 200 members already. Everyone has been super chill. The vibes have been immaculate, as the youth would say. And the coordination to finish the Ant Legion shit was not. I've never seen such coordination in my life.
Bro, they've already started with the new one, with the mech.
Somebody's Division 4. You only put out the video yesterday.
Bro.
How is that even possible?
Hey.
People are wild out there.
They supporting, man. They out here.
It's true.
Leg TV, the comeback, quest to 100,000 subs. We're back
again.
On it. Again.
So yeah, just shout out to everyone who participated in the Ant Legion one. That was fucking nuts. And this new one, I'll let Jeff just give the short spiel because we have the video up that he put up here on the channel. But for those who are listening in the car on the way to work, just give them the short spiel on the new one. So Ant Legion is done. We literally crushed it. It got to the point, just as a side note, it got to the point the Lag TV community is like a menace. We were known on the Ant Legion servers. The Lag TV hives were known because of the raids. They were legendary. They were wiping out everyone. We were a complete menace to society on Ant Legion, and now we're moving on to this new game. And now the idea is everyone wants to be a menace in this new game. So give the folks at home,
as they should,
the little rundown.
Yeah, so same spiel I was giving in my stream today. Basically, if you guys want to support, you can download Mech Arena for free to play on both PC and mobile. Just have to click on our link and get started. You can also join our new community Discord group. That'll be in the description of the video as well. And basically, it's like a mech warrior type game. You know, it's either 5v5, 2v2s, different game modes. So there's ones that are sort of capture the flag, or like you hold down certain points, ones that are just like straight up like PvP, where it's like you're just going for kills. And it's an actual like game. It's not like one of those like mobile sort of click and level up, wait a timer, do more level up, do these small little quests. And this is like a full-blown game. So go and check it out. You'll be hearing lots about it over the next, or at least the next 2 weeks of Lag TV content. And if you're a viewer on my stream, promote it all day, every day. So go check it out. It's a great way to support. And I think you're going to enjoy it. So get down there and make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. I just realized I forgot to do something. There we go. And so now let's talk about a little video game news, Mr. Black. We've got a couple of major points to talk about this week, so let's get it started. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think we talked about some of the controversy surrounding this, which has been like an ever-evolving combination of like over-aggressive knee-jerk grifting and social media, and then actually legitimate concerns. And the culmination of these things, largely surrounding, I guess the core issue here is that Ubisoft and some of Ubisoft's leadership have, for a while, long time, were discussing just, you know, the historical accuracy of the Assassin's Creed games in the last couple of runs, and that it would be carrying over into this one and whatnot. So they were talking up about a lot of accuracy and trying to remain, you know, true to, you know, without taking too much artistic license. And that whole thing fucking fell off the rails quick when they released the first trailer, and it was like, it wasn't that there was necessarily that there was a black samurai so much as it was like the black samurai shows up on screen and all of a sudden we've got like lo-fi hip hop and shit, and it was just like, it all came together as like a really awkward, which is fine. I want to say that for me, it's fun. That's fine on its own. If you weren't talking about like crazy historical accuracy on the side, if you just put this game out and shut the fuck up, and yeah, there was a black samurai walking around and you weren't like, yeah, we're being super historically accurate, whatever, you just put that shit out like Ninja Gaiden. Nobody is looking at Ninja Gaiden going, is this historically accurate? No. Are the size of the breasts on this woman historically accurate? No, but we like them, and so they're in the game. And like, everyone's fine. But in this instance, Ubisoft couldn't keep their fucking mouth shut, and they ended up getting caught for it. And there was a big winding road of things, like, to keep it relatively short, like Ubisoft was citing, in fairness to Ubisoft, they kind of got fleeced pretty fucking hard. So they were citing like a professor of Japanese history of some kind who had also written a book about the topics that also included Yasuke, which is the black samurai, or the black let's just say he was a black dude that just so happened to be over there and may or may not have wielded a samurai sword at some point to make it easier. And what turned out to happen was that guy that wrote his book was updating his own Wikipedia page for like references to make it more legitimate, and the way that he represented his book in Japan was more fiction, but then when he came over and did it in the Western world, he was presenting it as more like nonfiction, like based in reality. And so I think when Ubisoft's team or whoever they had hired to go out and do this research to get this the basis of the story went out, I think they got fleeced. I think they got skamazed. And so they didn't know what was coming, and now they're getting fucked. And so there was this big freaking, mess of shit. And anyway, of course, there's been a bunch of nonsense that's come up around it, but that's the long short of it. So ever since then, they have not been able to get their feet underneath them with this game. And it's gotten to the point where just yesterday, or earlier this week, I should say, I can't remember if it was yesterday or not, but Tokyo Game Show, I believe, starts today. And they had a presentation set up for this game for Tokyo Game Show. Seems apt. This is a Japanese history-based game. Samurais and shit. Tokyo Game Show. Yep. Let's go. Yep. They canceled that shit. They ain't showing up. They canceled the live stream. They canceled all of the event that they had there. Gone. They also canceled the press previews that were set to go out next week in lieu of the upcoming embargo. Part of that is probably because they also delayed the game into February of 2025. So clearly they want to try to make some changes and salvage whatever the fuck this weird, like, PR nightmare has been. They need to separate themselves from the Tokyo Game Show heavily. Their only comment on why they decided to walk away from the Tokyo Game Show is various circumstances. That is as vague as you could possibly fucking get. They're obviously not wanting to be too specific about it. But this is a bit of a problem for Ubisoft in general, Mr. Black. Because I'm sure you would remember most of the news we talk about when it comes to Ubisoft in the last 2 years, none of it's been great. It's almost all been bad. Like, there's been moments, they'd be like, oh, maybe Ubisoft's going to have it, but not very much. So these cancellations, Ubisoft in general has been up against it. So their share price is down. You could probably take a look at their 5-year average and watch that bad boy careen off a cliff. With share prices dropping substantially and revenue being down thanks to Star Wars Outlaws and other games not performing as well as hoped for the cost of those games. Shareholders have gotten to the point now where they're actually asking for restructuring at Ubisoft, including removing the longtime CEO Yves Guillemot. So it's bad. But Ubisoft refuses to actually, like, acknowledge any of that shit, the restructuring, the removing the CEO. They're not even, like, just like, you know, blinders, that's not happening, kind of a situation. So they're kind of up shit's creek at the moment, and the next year at Ubisoft is probably going to be pretty interesting, both in terms of, is Yves Guillemot still going to be CEO? Are they going to have to restructure the company, maybe sell some of it off, etc.? It's hard to say. Ubisoft is both one of the biggest publishers on the planet for video games, but also the one that's been teetering on, like, everything falling apart like a house of cards for 5 fucking years now. It's been a non-stop, like, somebody could come over and blow in their general direction and that shit would be fucking collapsing to the ground. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but for now, that's the latest of it. I just gotta be honest and say, is Assassin's Creed even worth getting upset about anymore? Like, I know Assassin's Creed still sells well, so clearly there are a lot of people that enjoy that series. I just gotta ask though, why?
I don't know.
I don't get the Assassin's Creed hype anymore. Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Black Flag, great.
I
walk away from it after that.
Yeah, I played the first 2, and then there was one with, like, a pirate ship or something. I don't remember which one that was, but it was like
that's
some sort
Black
of
Flag.
ship.
That's Black Flag.
Okay.
You were literally pirate, I believe, in Black Flag.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Funny enough, for whatever reason, I don't know what year that came out. It was a long time ago, I believe.
It was
many years ago.
Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure that was my parents bought me that game for, like, a birthday present or something.
Oh, wow. So that's old at that point.
And I just never played it. I was like, yeah, no. Because I was into Assassin's Creed, and they ended up getting me that game. I think it was for Xbox, and I just never played it. So it started right, and then it just never really evolved enough. But to be fair, I haven't played any Assassin's Creed since, like, the second one. I've only seen clips and reviews on Assassin's Creed, but it still looked very formulaic and like run down, like just it overstayed its welcome. So I don't know.
What you're describing is 100% what Assassin's Creed has become. It has changed. I would say the last 2 specifically have, in the sense that they really moved into open world style shit. Assassin's Creed kind of became the vehicle for what is now known as the Ubisoft formula of open world games. The insane collectathon, the joke of, like, opening the main map and there's so many fucking markers on the map that you can't even see the fucking map anymore, kind of a situation, and how you go from one area to another and how it plays out. It is very formulaic. It's very Ubisoft. Other companies have adopted parts of it because that system is good. It's just, for me, it's always felt like too much. Like, if I open my map in a game and I see 40,000 fucking markers, I'm already checked out.
There's like 50 million icons, and then you stand on something and you get, like, this assassin vision, and then, like, 50 million more things open. You know who basically did the exact same thing? Not Fallout, the other one that starts with an S. Or Far Cry.
Yes.
Far Cry.
Yeah, also
same thing.
Ubisoft.
Same generic, same shit.
Yes. Yes.
Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, same game, different IP.
You know it's Ubisoft is the moment somebody goes to the high ground and 5,000 icons show up on screen. You know, you don't even have to see anything else. That is 100% an Ubisoft production. So that's kind of where they're at. But I don't know how they've been staying afloat for the last 5 years. It's a fucking miracle. If they pull out of this shit in one piece and Eves does not step down, I don't even know. I don't know how they do it, but fucking good luck. I don't know how, you know, and I don't want them to bomb. Ubisoft has headquarters here in Halifax. They've got a place that's been there forever. One of their offices, it's right next to Dom Maurizio's, downtown on the waterfront. In that same like unit of buildings. You know, Ubisoft is a great long-term, you know, partially Canadian company, and I don't want to see them fail, but I also know that, like, you know, sometimes you know what Ubisoft reminds me of? Everyone's got a friend, you know, you have enough friends, you get out of high school, and everyone's got at least one friend where, you know, there's no reason for them to be failing so hard at life, but they're the type of people that need to hit absolute rock bottom, or some people need to hit rock bottom and then dig a hole a little bit and find whatever's below rock bottom, and then they're like, oh, there's nothing left. I've hit obsidian. This is Minecraft. I can't go any further.
There isn't even a pickaxe that can break this at this point.
No. Some people, I feel like Ubisoft is that friend. Ubisoft needs to hit fucking obsidian and then have to turn that shit around and come back out the other side. And I don't know if they've hit obsidian yet, but God, by God, they're fucking close. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next year or so. But I think the next year will be very pivotal. Speaking of hitting obsidian, and not getting a single diamond on the way down, Concord. Remember we talked about that bitch last week, and we were blowing it up. Rightfully so, because the game is dog shit. We thought it was bad because at the time, the rumor was that it was a $100 million game. And that's bad enough, especially over 8 years. Here's the kicker. The new news on the street coming in from apparently this is a longtime industry insider talking to one of the employees or ex-employees of Firewalk Studios who created this game, is actually closer to $400 million. $400 million. That is almost, that's a little over 50% of a Star Citizen, Mr. Black.
Could have made an Avatar with that type of money. God damn. James Cameron could have made... Yeah, fucking James Cameron could have made a couple billion in profit off that, man. What the fuck?
And you know what's sad? They made...
$0.
$0. They refunded any, like, okay, so this is how this is breaking down. The 400 million, so people are like, oh, Sony's doomed. I think Sony is actually in a bit of rough water right now, but it isn't as bad as people think because of Concord, but it is bad. So, Concord, before Firewalk Studios got bought up by Sony, had already spent about $200 million on development to that point. And when Sony came along to buy out Firewalk, they looked at Concord and they said, you know what? This is it's not ready yet, which really internally, somebody could have probably said $200 million and it still doesn't look all that hot. Maybe we should just... Sunk cost definitely came in and somebody fucking fell into that fallacy, you know, faster than hell, because after they bought them, they then injected another $200 million into the game. And internally, the scuttlebutt, if you will, is that it's a combination of things. So one, it was a combination of hubris, where a lot of the employees there were longtime industry veterans, and that made nothing but, or were attached to nothing but, killer fucking video games. And so the idea was they were too good to fail. And then the other part was toxic, what they called toxic positivity, where everyone was so sure that they weren't going to fail, and they were so positive about it, that it meant that almost no negative feedback ever got fielded at any point in time throughout the entire process of this video game being made, which led to the result in which you're now seeing today, which is to say they spent somebody's $400 million in total to make $0 on the other fucking side. So internally they were saying that this was supposed to be, at Sony when they bought Firewalk, the idea was this was going to be Sony's Star Wars. This was going to be the future of Sony. Long-term intellectual property that was going to be of Star Wars level importance to Sony, and that's why we already saw them talking about, the TV shows and all this other shit that was going to be associated with it and whatnot. So they had big fucking plans for this. So this is, at this point, so we thought 100 million. Even if somebody, because I've seen people when I've talked about this before say, oh, there's no way it was 400 million. That's got to be just exaggerated. Cut it in half. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Cut that number in half. $200 million, and they made $0, is still, to my knowledge, the worst loss in modern games history, if not video game history, in terms of actual revenue made off of dollars spent. 200 million down the drain minimum. That's your bottom of the barrel. Your upper floor is 400 million.
Yeah, but I mean, they still had marketing and everything. It's probably way more than 200 million. Way more.
I don't know if the 200 million that Sony spent is inclusive of marketing or not. So I don't know how much of Sony's spend is development plus marketing. Okay. I would expect that 200 million is probably also inclusive of some level of marketing. And in games, it's not as straightforward as movies where you take the cost of the movie and then double it and then like that's the spend on marketing. But I would say in this instance, if I had to take a wild fucking uneducated guess, 100 million was probably in development, 100 million was probably put in marketing for the game. Makes sense. If I had to take a guess. Which is still a fucking shitload of money. So
it's a lot.
Yeah, worse than we thought, down bad, and just another great example of hubris at the top of these companies. Somebody asked me, somebody asked me on Twitter when I posted about this 400 million, where I said it was so much worse because this news came out, I think, the day after our podcast last week. Somebody said, "What the fuck costs so much? What the fuck costs so much in gaming that it could possibly cost $400 million?" I said, hubris. Hubris is the most expensive part of any video game company. Making any game. Fuck development costs or anything else. It's hubris at the top of the company. Somebody coming in and thinking that they're invincible or that their career will not be harmed if it fails. And we touched a bit on this last week too, Mr. Black. You talked about this in part of what you were discussing on this topic, where were about like how CE or C-level people never seem to actually lose their career. They just move from one company to the next, even if they bombed the previous one they were at. They just feel invincible. They just do some crazy shit. How insane-o do you have to be to look at a project that already spent $200 million and is not ready to go to market? Spend another $200 million on that fucking game.
It's just dumb, bro. It's just bad business. It's not good. Maybe it was the fact that there is a world in which they had Concord come out. They knew they were never going to break even, but they wanted to get out the game, do as much marketing as they can, and have it build off of all of those other avenues, the series, the Star Wars, right? If you're planning to make a decade-long brand or longer, and you have other merchandise and other media outlets to make money, sometimes you can go ahead and really dump a lot of money in, maybe take a loss on the front, but then,
pick it up
on the back end. That's when things start to snowball because you want to put your best foot forward. If it's a brand new IP, you can't really expect it to have ultra success. Sometimes that happens, and that's great. But if they can at least make a compelling story, if they can at least, capture people's attention and it can get some good press, and then as you start to announce a series and these other things, people start to pick up the game. And when the series is out, just like what we saw with Fallout, that was already a highly successful franchise long before. But now look that they put out with the Fallout series. My God, here we go. So that might have been part of their strategy, right? But the fact that they basically canceled the game, released it, deleted it, and gave everybody their money back.
Yeah.
Rip. There's no back end anything. It's just over. It's done.
So apparently we're getting this in chat right now. To give you an idea of just how convoluted this process of development must have been, the runtime for the credits at the end of the game, what was the exact time? 1 hour, 12 minutes, 29 seconds. You got a feature-length film
What?
in credit roll. In credit roll. An hour
Wow.
and 12. There's a video of it. An hour and 12 minutes of credit roll. Now I know that credits
who
have gotten
actually beat
crazy.
the game? Wasn't the game out not that long?
It was out for like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So somebody hit credits. I know credits have gotten crazy because, and for good reason, for a long time in movies and games and whatnot, a lot of people that did a lot of work on projects weren't getting recognized in the credits. But it's like we overcompensated, and now if like somebody brought a cinnamon dolce grande latte into the office on a rainy Tuesday,
I want my credit.
My name's on that list, bitch. Get it in there. And so you get an hour and 12 minutes of fucking credits now. That's just absolutely insane. You know what that's like? That's like if at some point when YouTubers and stuff, they start a Patreon, and one of the perks is I'll give you a shout out at the end of all of my videos. That works really well, even in text form, until you're like an actual sizable channel, and then it gets to a point where the end of your videos is just like fucking 5 minutes of
too much.
6-point font. Nobody can even see their name anymore. It just becomes too much. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But there you go. Yes, Senior Dolce Grip. That's the credit for the coffee guy. Senior Dolce Grip. Holy shit, that's a great meme. I want that on a t-shirt. I want Concord with Senior Dolce Grip on a t-shirt. That shit would be fire. All right, moving on from poor Concord. Nintendo lawsuit with Palworld, which we talked about last week because it was fresh off the presses. We got a little bit more information. Not direct information in the sense that we're getting stuff from the lawsuit itself, but we did have some very what I would call viable information that we can chew on in the meantime. So Japan's, as we talked about last week, and what surprised a lot of people, this is not a copyright lawsuit. This is a patent lawsuit. This isn't because the front cover PAL for Palworld looks like an Electabuzz holding, Terminator 3 machine gun. That's 100% what it is. It's not that. It's for game mechanics. That's what they're going after. And Nintendo holds a shitload of really, if you ever look into it, really painfully generic patents that I'm not sure how the fuck they ever got cleared, but they did. I mean, this is like somebody said they should start patenting air because Nintendo's got such fucking randomly generic patents that they're pulling out for this, and it's worse than that. So we got some more information on that this week. So, just to be more regionally specific, this comes from a Japan-based patent attorney, Kiyoshi Kurihara. He assumed when he looked into this that given that Nintendo and Pokemon are jointly suing, that the patents that they would be suing for are the ones that they hold together, and not Nintendo individually or the Pokemon company individually, but the ones that they actually hold in partnership. As such, that reduces the list of possibilities down to about 28 total patents that could be used. And then from there, he narrowed it further. So in July of this year, 2024, so not that long ago, and well after Palworld came out, Nintendo and Pokemon asked for an accelerated process to get a new patent outlining aiming a capture item at a character and releasing it using two inputs, an analog stick and a button press. That is what he thinks is probably the primary patent that they're trying to sue over, is this patent, which, again, I don't understand in my pea brain. Patent law is fucking weird and scummy globally, but in Japan, apparently it's even worse. They're putting in this patent after Palworld comes out. Seems insane that they could just like walk over and just be like, yeah, so we just patented this the other fucking last Tuesday. Time to go to court, buddy. So they did that one. They pushed for an accelerated process to make this happen, which meant, in my mind, they knew they were going to sue. They just wanted to speed this process up so they could get to the lawsuit as fast as possible. Now, a patent covering the process of capturing a monster by just using an analog stick and a button might be some of the most generic ass fucking shit you could possibly think of, And I'm not sure how Nintendo could ever defensibly even own that when Pokemon or Pokemon Company, when they weren't even the first ones.
Nope.
Which is crazy. So beyond that, to get some more information for that one, he does believe that that's the primary one. He described that specific patent, and I quote, as a killer patent that covers a lot of bases and would be really hard to avoid if you're trying to make anything resembling a Pokemon game. So that's the kind of patent that if, anyone's making a game that even loosely resembles Pokemon, would be very hard to avoid the minefield of that patent because it's so fucking broad. And for whatever reason, the patent office granted Nintendo and the Pokemon Company this patent. This accelerated process also brought with it amendments to 3 other patents that they already held. 2 relating to the capturing of a monster or something that they already held, and 1 related specifically to riding creatures. Amending existing patents that are about to be used in a litigation process is common practice, according to this lawyer. So, basically, they just got a patent for a new one that they haven't had yet, amended 3 others that were viable for this lawsuit, and then said, all right, time to go to court. That's it. So those we don't know that those are it for sure, but that comes from a patent guy in Japan. It sounds very viable that those 4 are the most likely candidates, certainly, for what they'd be going after them for. The unfortunate thing is, you'll probably hear 2 sides of this. You'll hear patent lawyers and lawyers in general, in the West that will say there's no way Nintendo will win this because you can't defend those patents. They're too generic. And then there are people in Japan that will say Nintendo is going to win this, no question, because it's just different in Japan. And further than that, there is a bit of an air of mystique to Nintendo and Pokemon because every single lawsuit that they have started themselves, like they've issued it themselves, they've won every single time. 0% loss rate. 100%.
What kind of lobbying are these guys doing? There's some
crazy lobbying, bro. 100% success rate, accelerated patent filing processes right before going into a lawsuit against another Japanese company. That's scummy as fuck, bro. Now, this isn't just, Nintendo isn't the only one that does this, but in the gaming industry, Nintendo is one of the most aggressive by miles. A lot of Japanese companies are, but Nintendo and Pokemon have oodles of money and the craziest fucking lawyers around. So they're the most high profile in this regard. The lawyer did say that he is not concerned about Palworld not being able to afford this process. They have the money for it, he said. It's not going to be like, he said, this is not going to be like Apple versus, Epic. It's not going to be like it's not going to be like a hundreds of millions of dollar affair. It will be expensive. It will probably be time consuming. He said it's more likely to take 5 years than it is to take 1 year for this to go through. But he said people shouldn't be too concerned about Palworld's developer not being able to afford the process. It's just going to be a giant pain in their ass, which is historically accurate for Nintendo's lawsuits because most of them end in settlements and not actual, like, the process never sees an end in court.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Crazy. Wouldn't be so bad if I don't know, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company actually put out games that fucking ironically evolved themselves. But they are the slowest to fucking change anything out of any company fucking on earth. And they've got like this endless money printing machine. And because most of their customers are kids, they don't fucking know better. They don't care, so they can get away with murder.
They don't care.
And then on the back end, they get to go and be like litigious assholes and just like hold everyone up and not allow new video games to be made for everyone else that's like older. A lot of older people that like survival games looked at Palworld and said, this is fucking dope. I get a Pokemon style thing with survival game on the back end. Fire. Nobody else is doing that shit. And unfortunately, apparently, Nintendo doesn't want you to be able to do it either. So we're going to have to
there's a reason why you don't have that shit is because people are scared to make that shit because they know Nintendo is going to come.
Exactly. It's crazy. Such a weird... And who they choose to go after, like we talked about before, like Temtem is right there.
Yep.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, quick news bits, Mr. Black. Just got a couple of bits there. The legendary media player, Mr. Black, as a music lover and an elder millennial, you'll know it. Winamp, the GOAT. The GOAT that unfortunately at some point did fall off because it took a long time, but eventually it had to be replaced. But Winamp has officially gone open source and is now asking for help to modernize the player, which means only one thing, Mr. Black. It's time to whip the llama's ass again. If they can get that brought up to speed, I'll fucking install Winamp on my computer again.
I'm ready.
Immediately.
I'm ready, Winamp.
Immediately.
Yes.
Winamp skins? Did you ever have a go-to Winamp skin that you had on yours? Or were you like the one that rotated them out like constantly?
No, I mean, I did a little bit. My favorite one was the Matrix one. I had a bunch of different Matrix ones.
With like the fucking
with the stuff that came down,
the computer screen
code.
words and shit.
Yeah, like the 01100111110. Yeah.
Fire. Proving yet Ubisoft is back in this list already. Proving yet again that Ubisoft will do literally anything with the Splinter Cell name other than actually make a new game with it. Splinter Cell Death Watch, an animated series, is now slated for Netflix coming soon. That was announced just recently, I think in the last week. Every time I see Splinter Cell, I see Sam Fisher appear on my screen, I'm like, is it finally time? Is it here?
No.
It's never the time. No. He's appeared in a random mobile game, or he's like appearing over here, or it's like a skin for another fucking game or some shit. And then here we go. We finally see him again. He's animated shit. I'm like, oh man, Splinter Cell, come on. Nah, get fucked. Sony's incessant need to remaster games that don't need it continues as Horizon Zero Dawn was announced this week for a remaster. Everyone always makes fun for the amount of The Last of Us remasters there are because there's so many of them, and the game just did not need a fucking remaster. Maybe it could have used one. Like if they waited the whole time and then just done the most recent one, you could be like, oh, okay, all right. They were remastering that bitch like crazy. This one, Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't know if that necessarily needed a remaster, but they gave it anyway. I don't know if they're going to make their money back. They're going to try, though, because owners of the PS4 version can upgrade for $10. However, without an announcement, I just saw this today myself, Sony quietly increased the price of the current version of Horizon Zero Dawn online by $10 as well. So they're trying to get you for $20.
Got him.
The scammers.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when you go to a store and they're like, huge 30% off.
You peel
but
the
then
sticker
that morning, they had already raised the price by 30%. So they make it seem like you're getting a discount.
Which is
but you
horribly
really
illegal in Canada. Apparently that's not illegal in the States, bro. Can you imagine that shit?
Crazy.
That's illegal here, but in the States, that shit flies in some states, apparently. Damn. What the fuck? So you can just be jack that price up and then go outside and be 90% off.
Wow.
Skamazin all over the place. But yeah, I mean, Horizon, this was after the announcement, obviously, of other Horizon projects and shit that they're working on. I still think the most exciting thing that's happened to Horizons as a series, I don't know what it is about that game or that series. I really like the first one. I still think it's one of the best games on the PlayStation 4. It's probably the best looking game on the PlayStation 4. But there's just something about it that hasn't allowed it to become legendary status, reach a much wider audience. I don't know what it is, because the combat's great. It looks fucking incredible, but the story's even not bad. The story itself is pretty good, but for me, it's the moment to moment dialogue and NPCs and shit. They're all snooze fests. They're all boring. I fall asleep. I don't remember anyone's name. I remember Aloy, main character. Nobody else. Oh, and first game, #fuck Ted, because it was a meme in my stream. Because Ted was, I don't want to say because it's a massive spoiler, but #fuck Ted. Everyone else, zero impact. Did not stick with me at all. They could have all been just casual. They could have been citizens. What do you guys call on GTA RP? The
local.
NPC? The local. They're just all locals. They don't mean nothing. They're just They're just in the background. They're just there.
They're
They
just there.
exist. They just
there.
exist.
Fucking locals. They don't have names. They're just there.
They're just there. Shambles. Yeah, so anyway, I think the most impressive thing that's happened with that, the most interesting is that they did the Horizon Zero Dawn Lego edition, which is like super dope and it's got lots of great little like things and whatnot, co-op and shit. Like that's great. It's a good game. But yeah, I don't know, something about it. So remastering the first one, I was like, how are they going to get their money back? And then they increased the price by $10. I said, oh, that's how scummy. That's all I got for video game news, Mr. Black, which means it's time to sell out to the folks at home for a few minutes. What you got?
Patreon.com/lagtv. Head on over there. Throw some money at the screen if y'all want to support. You can also support us by downloading Mech Arena and playing that. And we cannot forget about NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN subscription, do us a favor. Click on that link or head on over to nordvpn.com/OTT. Get yourself that 2-year subscription. With that, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like what the service is in any way, shape, or form, you can get your money back within 30 days, no questions asked. You can use your VPN for multiple things. I personally use mine to mask my IP so that I can unlock parts of the internet that are usually region blocked. I also use it to watch different versions of Netflix and other streaming services. So, for example, if you're from the UK and maybe there's a series that doesn't have licensing on Netflix in the UK, but it does in the US, you can quickly, at the click of a button, mask your IP to the US. Then the service thinks you're visiting the US, and then all of that content is unlocked so you can watch it there. Just like if you were traveling there. Like when I travel to the States and I'm in the hotel room, I'm just watching US Netflix because, that's where I'm at. So you can do it that way. Of course, VPN also, in my opinion, the best part of it is staying anonymous, having that anonymity when you're on the internet. So whether you are traveling, you're at your public Walmart, Starbucks, Wi-Fi, even at your own house, friend's house, whatever the case may be, you can mask your IP, keep yourself protected. It's a great way to make it so that these websites cannot track your data and get all that cookie information and all that stuff. It's just a way to be as anonymous as humanly possible when on the internet, if that's what you want. It's 2024, guys. 1 in 3 households have a VPN. Why not be one of them? And with the price of less than half a cup of coffee a month at Starbucks, I mean, dude, it's almost a must. And you can have it on your iOS. I do believe Adam has an Android. I have a iPhone. You can use it on both. You can have it on your PC, your Mac, your laptop. You can hook it up directly to your router, so all your devices can be masked at the same time. Lots of things that you can do. Plus, they have a ton of other great products like password managers and all that stuff as well when you go and visit nordvpn.com. It's a great way to support us, the sponsor, and of course yourself, all at once for just a few dollars a month. That's it.
Fantastic, which means it's time to move on to
movies and TV.
I have nothing. However,
neither do I.
I did just open my phone and my Twitter refreshed, and I thought it was Disbussing Film at first, like the parody account. So I had to double take to make sure it wasn't, but it is Discussing. It is Discussing Film. Jared Harris, when asked why he took a role in Morbius, and I quote,
"For the money?
I've got a mortgage to pay."
Hey, at least he's keeping it a buck, man. I respect people that keep it a buck like that. Like, dude,
I got a mortgage to pay.
I got a mortgage. I got a family to feed.
I gotta live with Jared Leto for a while to pay the bills. It's just kind of how it has to go.
I mean, think about it, right? The people out there that work at Walmart. If you were to ask them, why do you work at Walmart? Which, by the way, I think is a rude thing to ask somebody anyway. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why people feel comfortable in saying these things. Like even in the movie industry, It's really
Yeah.
none of your business. Like, to be honest,
Yeah.
like, it's their profession, it's their
Why
job.
does anyone do any job ever? The answer is
For money.
always, I got bills to pay. Like,
Exactly. They have work to do. Like, it's not they're not running a nonprofit. They're not just doing something to just do it. There's a paycheck at the end of it. And sometimes the paycheck is better than other paychecks. So, shout outs to him for keeping it real. Movie's fucking trash. You probably knew it was fucking trash. But at the end of the day, he's got bills to pay, and it's his job.
Look what Nick Cage did to pay off all of his fucking debts for a decade. Literally any movie that crossed his hands. All right, I'm in. Every time for a decade.
How much? $1 million? Done.
Yep, done.
I don't even need to see the script. I'm just going to show up.
I have to admit, I do enjoy watching those Nick Cage movies because there's something special about Nicolas Cage showing up, and it's Nicolas Cage. So like, even if the script is shit and that the writing is terrible, he still shows up, and Nicolas Cage, like, whether you like him as an actor or not, he takes acting incredibly fucking seriously. Like, any interview he's ever in, if anyone asks about acting and if they don't know it about Nick Cage at first, you might think that he's kind of a parody of himself, but that's actually just Nick Cage. And he'll get upset with you if you question, and his knowledge of film is fucking insane.
It's deep.
And so with that knowledge in mind, that this man is like, his favorite films are like German artistic fucking films that nobody's seen or even heard of before. And he could give you like a 4-hour dissertation on it. And then you see that he's shown up in like some random fucking series of Netflix movies. And he takes every role so fucking seriously that even when everything is shit, you still get Nick Cage in the movie. And so I will watch them every goddamn time just for that. It's the funniest shit to me. I love it to death. Yeah. So other than that, the Penguin did, I guess, start up. Somebody reminded me. It's true. I'm gonna probably wait until most of it is out and then try to catch it. But when we saw the trailer for it, I immediately knew the soup was gonna be fire.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but I don't have HBO anymore. So once like House of Dragons comes back or something that I see,
binge all the HBO content,
and then I'll binge
both
of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
yeah, but it's gonna be fire. I mean, it looked like the premise was fire, the casting was fire. It just all looks really good, and it's like another reminder that at least for me, as much as I enjoy some of the early '90s Batman films, is that a lot of the best Batmans, kind of because of the premise of the character itself, works best when it tries to stay true to life and walks away a bit from the superhero aspect of it, because Batman
comic booky
is not really a
cartoony
superhero. He's just a rich dude in a suit and with mommy and daddy issues. Like, that's basically Batman. And so the gritty, more real, not even, it doesn't have to be gritty, but the closer to reality that it gets, the better the Batman content tends to be. As much as I love, for example, the Christian Bale Batman series with Nolan, the parts of it where even though it's in the comic books, I understand, but going out in the mountains and fucking like training montages and shit, it's like none of that means anything to me for the Batman. I do not care. Ra's al Ghul or whatever, who I think is supposed to be Asian, but like Liam Neeson ended up getting the role. It was fucking weird. It's just none of that needed to be in the fucking movie. It's fucking odd. But then you get into the city, and then you see like the in the city parts and like the Batman and the interactions, between Bruce and Bat. Yes, okay, give me more of that. That's what the Penguin is. So I'm looking forward to eventually catching that. And I guess that's it, because I don't think there's anything else. We are getting closer and closer every day to the re-release of Interstellar in theaters, which means I'm getting more and more ready to go and witness that. But beyond that, I don't think there's anything else for that, Mr. Black, which means movies and TV is short yet again into directly
tech support.
You're gonna have to give me a moment here. Patreon.com/lagtv is the place to go if you want to financially support the podcast outside of the other channels now, like participating in these events that we have with the games and whatnot. Patreon is a great way of doing that if you want to as well. And for $5 or more a month, you get a couple of perks. Chiefly, you get to ask us questions on a post that I put up before the podcast called Tech Support, where you ask us questions and we give you the answers with the time that we've got. Let's see what we got for this week. Roran, congratulations on the wedding, Adam. Thank you, Roran. Question for both of you. If you could do your weddings over again, is there anything you would change? For mine, I'm dead serious. I can't even fathom what the fuck I could have changed about my wedding that could have made it better. The only thing that went wrong was that one of M's good friends got sick. We had no control over that. And a family member, one of my aunts, the aunt that lives with me, was ill and was unable to make it. Those are the only two people that couldn't make it that we were hoping to get there, that we sent invitations to. Everyone else got there on time. Weather was perfect. Everything went without a hitch. That's like, I can't even fucking fathom what we could have done better on that day. We were so efficient with pictures. We're going to get them printed and we'll send them all out. We didn't just get like the photographer good pictures with just us and the family. We got every single guest that was at the wedding in pictures with Em and I, down at the location, which was insane. And then we still got to go to the beach and take pictures of the beach. It was nuts.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, just crazy efficiency. So, yeah, I don't think I would change a lot. Could we have gone with just a coordinator company to try to reduce the cost of like individually renting the tent and the food separately and all that stuff? Because at first we thought we'd save money by doing it ourselves, but in reality, it cost even more fucking money. So there are some things that now that I've done it, I'd probably change like that aspect of it, but like the actual mechanics of the wedding, fuck no. Everything was basically god tier. So I don't think so. I don't think so for us.
I don't think so either, to be honest, because I never like left my wedding or even looked back at it and said, "Oh, I wish we would have done that instead." I think like the only thing that I would have preferred to have done is done a destination wedding somewhere hot, on the beach or something along those lines. But it just wasn't feasible to expect, 70 people or whatever, however many people we had there to like fly out to Dominican or wherever.
Those are tough to do when you start like talking about flying out somewhere and have everyone.
Exactly.
It's one thing to expect a couple like specific family members to fly down to, but like everyone, that gets complicated.
It's too much. Yeah. So no, I can't think of anything either. I can't, and I don't regret like live streaming it. Kayla at no point ever said like, no, I don't want to do this. She was on board the whole time, never complained about a thing. Obviously, if I had found out that she didn't enjoy that process and she wanted it to be a little bit more intimate, then I probably would have regretted that. But that wasn't the case at all. And we have the whole thing on video. Like, we literally have it on video. And it'll be 10 years next Friday.
True.
Which is nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that was a hell of an event. It's a miracle that the live stream like went the whole way with no
one
issues.
File.
One giant fucking file. Miraculous. Yep. I only remember about 20% of your wedding because I was literally just fucking dead the whole day, but it somehow happened. I remember I loosely remember the getting dressed part at your place. There's some pictures, and I have pictures of that too. I can loosely remember that. I can remember Kayla feeding me mashed potatoes off of her plate because our table was like really deep into it, and I hadn't eaten in like fucking 30 hours, and I was dying, and so she got me to go over and started feeding me mashed potatoes to keep me alive for like the 20-minute wait, and then that's about it. I remember a little bit of the dance. And I remember one of your, I don't know if it's a great uncle or a grandfather. I think it's a grandfather that was, a clearly Southern Baptist. Was like, I can't remember what color the suit was. I just know that you could direct traffic with it. I think it was orange. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my grandfather.
Yeah. That was like some zoot type shit, and it was crazy. I loved it. And that's about 95% of what I can remember. I don't know how much more of that how much more of that I can remember. I don't even remember the setup for the live stream. I don't even remember doing it. I know we like stuck a webcam on the pillar, like above the laptop that was there. I don't remember how I wired the audio. I actually don't remember how I did it.
And we had multiple cameras all over the place.
Yeah, I don't fucking, but it worked and it's on video. It's proof. It's all the proof we need.
Yep, it's there, man.
It worked. Oh, you know what? I do remember one other part. I do remember your Kayla's walk-in, because now every time I hear that fucking song,
I know.
It's my association is that one song I can't. You know, M had a list for the cellist to play, you know, and just obviously there's no vocals or anything, we're just literally on the cello. And that was on the list because every wedding has that on the list. And I said, we can't, that's gotta go. That's gotta go. Yeah. That's like the one that can't be on
one
there.
Song. Yeah.
The one song. Let's see. Volkus, with the storm barreling down towards Florida, the state's getting beat up right now with storms. What's a crazy or funny storm-related story or memory you guys have? Well, everyone's always heard mine a million times over.
Yeah, we've already answered this question like fucking 3 times, I think, right? Like
we all know. And this white wand, and then for me, the craziest one is
Hurricane Katrina.
Is my grade 9 trip out on the boat in fucking Newfoundland. That's easily the worst storm-related thing I've ever fucking experienced. Personally, anyway. I thought I was gonna die. But that's okay, because I kicked that kid off the fucking GameCube, and I played the shit out of Mario Kart for like 5 straight hours. It was one of the few chairs bolted to the floor in the whole joint. I was good. Stuck out there for a while. Joshua said, any plans on doing in-person podcasts? Not anytime soon.
No.
There's no reason to.
I don't think so. I don't even have the room anymore.
The room's not even set up anymore. Yeah, it's a gym room.
Yeah.
So
plus we got to record StarCraft, and it's just everything is just
hideously inefficient.
Right like this.
Yeah. Any plans? Sorry. Also, this is a rant. These are two totally. You won't even be able to answer this. What's the best Persona game to play? 4 is my favorite. It's on my short list of like all-time favorite games, like top 5. And you're likely going to get a redo of that here in the not too distant future. So if you were going to play it, you could play Golden. Otherwise, wait for 4 to get redone like they did with 3 here just recently. But 4 is I think the best of all of them. 3 is also really good. I mean, 3, 4, and 5 are all great games. You can't really go wrong with any of them. Let's see. Dent, favorite type of real life cheese, Parmesan, mozzarella, etc., and favorite type of StarCraft cheese.
I like habanero cheese. Like
so
it's
like
a little spicy.
So like habanero inside of what is it, like a Havarti or something, kind of like a sliced
it's
type
a
of
sliced
deal?
it's a sliced type of deal.
Yeah.
So I do
it's
like
probably
that.
Havarti.
And favorite Protoss cheese.
Or just in cheese in general, StarCraft cheese. Doesn't have to be Protoss.
StarCraft cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta go with the classic Cannon Rush, man.
Yeah.
It's Cannon Rush.
That's my answer too, because really, well, you know, I'll try to be different. I'll try to give another answer. So Cannon Rush is obviously a legendary cheese. I'll say this. I think my favorite cheese to watch be successful is a Zerg spine crawler rush against another Zerg. There is something incredibly satisfying because they get to work on creep on 2 fronts, and then at the end it usually results in them literally flipping bases, like they just walk in and just take over the base. There's something satisfying about that actually working. It doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, it's it's quite a satisfying cheese.
I'm gonna add to that one.
Yeah.
The cheese I hate the most.
Oh, okay.
Swarm hosts. Rushing swarm hosts using Nidus.
That's so broken.
Absolutely
it's so broken.
AIDS.
Listen.
It's so bad.
Blizzard, I already gave you the solution to this problem ages ago. Nobody's listening to little old me. I gave you the guys the solution, the keys to the city on how to make swarm hosts not dumb.
Yep.
Like the 3 people still working on StarCraft right now. I know there's only 3 of you.
Did you hear? Did you hear the news?
What news?
About StarCraft?
I don't think so. Or maybe I didn't. I forgot. What is it?
You didn't hear?
No, maybe not.
So it just got announced that StarCraft 2 is going to Xbox Game Pass, PC and console in November. Is it either October 15th or November 15th?
When did this news? When did this news drop?
Like either today or late yesterday.
Today would make sense because it's Tokyo Game Show, so maybe it was an announcement related to that kind of stuff. I didn't hear that yet. No, I did not hear that. That's crazy. So this is like a renaissance of like StarCraft on consoles for the first time since N64.
I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that play on
how is that gonna
Xbox
pan
Game
out?
Pass.
How is that going to pan out? So did they confirm it will actually go to Xbox and not just like the PC Game Pass?
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check here. StarCraft.
Because if it's on the Game Pass, it could just mean PC only.
Let me see here. So, StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Remaster collections. Yeah, StarCraft. Let me see here. Yeah, at the Tokyo Game Show, real company. Where is this? Where is it? StarCraft 2 campaign collection, meanwhile, includes the StarCraft 2 single-player campaigns combined with over 70 missions. All Wings of Liberty, Heart of Swarm, and Legacy of the Void, and Nova Covert Ops will all be on there. It's not saying anything. One sec here. Okay, here it is. Okay, it's saying PC Game Pass. So it might not be console.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But it's 100% PC.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Which is still...
That's great.
Which is still...
That's
really
still big
good
news
for the game.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, for sure.
Massive.
Because it's already free to play online, but that will give people the opportunity to play the campaign stuff, not for free per se, but it's included in the Game Pass, which is going to bring a lot more people to that.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like people were like, "What on the console? That'd be terrible." StarCraft 2 has so many quality of life changes over Brood War. It's insane, and the controllers that we have today versus the N64 controller, I'm pretty sure you could come up with a way, especially if you had a pro controller, because the pro controllers have the back paddles for like extra buttons and stuff for like macro keys for like bringing up menus and shit like that. I bet you, I mean, obviously it's never going to be fucking as good as on a mouse and keyboard.
No.
But you could totally do like single player campaign shit and some low level, like if it was separate from the PC queue.
Yeah, I was thinking if you're going to put it on console, I think you could definitely do the campaigns on console. And I have a confession to make. I haven't even beat the StarCraft's campaigns. StarCraft 2. I still haven't played them all.
Damn.
Still.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know what? Who's it? Day 9 just went back to play the Brood War campaigns recently. He just went back in to do that. That's a nostalgia trip and a half.
I did play those ones, and I did play Wings of Liberty, but I don't think I've ever beat Heart of the Swarm, and I think I may have played a few of the Legacy of the Void campaign missions, but I have not beat Legacy or Heart of the Swarm.
We were just so dialed in on the fucking multiplayer side, we never even looked at the...
Yeah. I mean, who knows, Adam? Maybe that could be our thing. Maybe that's a goal that we can set one of these deals, and we can go through the campaign together, or co-op. I've never played a co-op in my life. Never. Not
the co-op
once.
Campaign stuff.
I don't even know what it looks like. Honest to God,
that's
I
true.
have no idea.
That's
which
true.
would be fun content as well.
If we get a really good campaign that we think we could really drive people with.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe that ends up being a stretch goal. Is you and I doing co-op campaign stuff?
That'd be fun.
Good possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, as for my actual favorite type of real cheese, listen. Just give me really good aged cheddar, white or otherwise, doesn't matter. And on a burger, double smoked aged cheddar is incredible. That's
I love cheese.
My go-to.
The older I get, the more I just fuck with cheese.
My body does not, but I do, and it has no option.
Dude. Oh, and I love it, but if I eat too much of it,
Gotta get those lactate pills. They make a massive difference.
Oh, I got
It's
them.
night and day. Oh yeah.
Oh, I got them.
Yeah. Gotta dial that in. This is a really techie question for me, but I'll make it a relatively quick answer just so we get to the next one. But this is such a random thing, I have to get to it. David said, question for Adam. I'm struggling with home internet issues where I'm running a Wi-Fi network using a few Ubiquiti APs and a Ubiquiti router, as well as a backup Wi-Fi network using my Rogers provided modem. However, I have some dead zones and the performance in general isn't that great. What's the best way for me to easily diagnose the issue without having to spend months learning networking?
He needs to get the mesh. Get this like mesh. I use Arrow.
Yeah, this Wi-Fi, this mesh networks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
there's
like
a bunch of different. There's a bunch of different brands that do mesh networking for the house. And
yeah, Arrow. That's what I use.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them that exist out there, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish, some might be better than others. Rogers themselves probably would try to sell you their own mesh network. I would imagine most of the IP or ISPs have their own versions of mesh networking where they'll come in and every part though, like every booster, you're paying like another $5 a month or some fucking stupid amount of money.
Fuck that, just buy them.
Yeah, just buy them.
Get your own. Yeah.
Look into mesh networking and find some reputable brands that will work with your router and or modem. And as far as like dead zones and stuff are concerned, though, like even with good mesh networking, unless you're really willing to like, run some shit where you might be in the attic running wire and stuff like that, the challenge is sometimes just your house and what's in the walls between you and wherever the next closest point of access is. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So any opportunity that you have to run Cat6e cable from your modem to an actual wall socket and then run a booster directly off of a wall socket instead of relying on actually meshing from like, let's say one booster to another booster, like daisy chaining boosters is better. The more you can do that, the better. Some people will literally just run like a router in an upstairs place off of a Ethernet jack to just supply to the upstairs and then have a separate one for the basement. Makes a big difference. But a mesh network is your best choice. And depending on what you're trying to accomplish, that's what you'll have to try to do. But Ubiquiti, I believe, is in itself a mesh network. So if there's still issues, I don't know all the names of all of them, so I don't know. If you still have some issues, then it could be that you're going to have to look into perhaps running, like I said, some Cat6e through the house to a couple of sockets, or at least one, as far away from your actual modem as possible, and then running a router on that side of the house to send internet over there. And that will probably be your best bet, because otherwise you're just kind of fucked. It is tough. I mean, like, I'm lucky this house is not that big, so I've got my modem behind me, and that shit will send Wi-Fi to the other side of the house, no problem. Upstairs, doesn't matter. But it can be very difficult depending on the makeup of your house and what's in the walls. Ace says, I've only been to Canada once, but I did manage to set foot in 3 provinces, Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. So on that note, marry, fuck, kill, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick. What the fuck? Well, I can't kill New Brunswick because I actually have family, like part of my family is from there. So that has to be, that's an unfortunate, shortens my list up here. The meme would be to kill Quebec because, they're asking to leave Canada anyway. But Ontario,
that was the route I was going to go, but you know what? I'm killing New Brunswick, man. That place,
it's rough.
It's rough, bro.
I got family there, but it is rough.
Yeah. But listen, kill New Brunswick, but you don't need to kill the people. Just get rid of New Brunswick. You know what I'm saying?
move the people somewhere else.
Yeah, we move them out of New Brunswick, which is basically they're in a better spot anyway, no matter really where they go. And then, just get rid of that little section there. Maybe even just expand Nova Scotia to New Brunswick. It's 3-hour drive. It's not even. It's nothing.
Tiny little land bridge. It's fine.
I am. What was the other one? Ontario and Quebec.
Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick. Yeah.
Fuck. Dude, I hate to say this.
You know what? Before you answer, I'm killing Ontario. I'm killing Ontario. You want to know why? All right, so listen to me. Listen. Quebec has some reasons to hate Canada. I respect it a little bit. I think it's dumb because they'd fail as a country literally in the first fucking year. So it's dumb on that regard, but I understand why. I get it. It's Ontario, much of Ontario, specifically the closer to Toronto you get, honestly believes, much like I'm sure many people in New York, that they are the center of the universe, and it's insane. But not only that, but like the more time goes on, the less Ontario like feels like Canada. Every time I've even strolled through the airport there, it just feels less and less like Canada and more of just foreign landowners. People just coming in, buying up shit all over the place, and then they moved down here.
I could say a lot more, but I'm not gonna.
Then they moved down here, and then they fucked up this province too. I gotta keep it a buck. They can't drive to save their goddamn life. Just accidents every fucking 3 minutes here, and it's somebody with an Ontario license plate or somebody that's got a brand new Nova Scotian license plate that used to say Ontario.
Bro, I'm marrying Quebec, and I'm just fucking Toronto or Ontario.
Oh, you're fucking
because
Ontario?
I feel like Ontario is a good place to visit for a short period of time. It's like dip your dick in it and leave. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm marrying Quebec is because I think, for me, it is the most fun province in Canada. They still have tons of concerts. They have skiing and other outdoor
arguably the best
stuff.
food.
The awesome food.
Yeah.
They're bilingual, although, let's be real here, in certain parts of Quebec, they're just French, and they hate anybody that speaks English. But with that being said, the real estate isn't as stupid as Ontario, so you can still afford to live there. Yes, they have the worst taxes in all of Canada, but let's be real, we're the second worst, so it's not like it's that much different.
Not a big leap.
It's very, very minuscule.
Like
pretty
1%,
much the same thing.
I think it's something like 1% difference.
And it's just a fun city, man. It's just a fun city. It's just lively. It's artistic.
A lot of young people and stuff there too.
There's a lot of young people, and there's also old Montreal, where there's a lot of old history
Quebec
there.
City.
Yeah, man. Dude, Quebec is awesome.
Yeah.
If I were to live in any part of Canada outside of Nova Scotia, that's where I'm moving. And it's great to fly. It's still a hub.
Yeah, because you can still, Montreal is still a hub.
So, dude, I'm marrying the shit out of Quebec.
Yeah. I think in this, I think I'll agree. I'm going to marry Quebec. I'm killing Ontario. I'm fucking New Brunswick, and I'll have to get checked at the doctors the next day, but that's okay.
Yeah, but that's weird, though. You're fucking New Brunswick because your family lives there? Come on, bro.
Not the people, the place.
I understand, but who's fucking not... Who's fucking New Brunswick, man?
Their local government.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It is what it is.
What the fuck is going on in here?
I don't know. There's some crazy. Did Meows just gift
100 gifted subs?
100 gifted
Twitch
subs.
added 20 and 10 bonus gift subs.
What the fuck? Miyagi saw Drekka last week and said bet.
Damn.
Thanks, bro. That is a combination of over 200 subs between Drekka and Miogs, and I don't think that many people even come through here to watch that stream anymore, so there are going to be people confused, lost in a daze.
That's okay.
God bless you, Miogs.
Actually, pretty much, it looks like all of these names are from my stream. I recognize 99% of them.
Twitch hit rate.
So
it's funny. So I'll have 30 people on my stream, right? And some people drop Miogs or Drekka or a handful of others that I've got some, Sarcasm Kid, a bunch of people that give subs all the time. The hit rate on Twitch's algorithm is so goddamn terrible. There will be people in there that are there on my stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
And they won't get it.
365, and they will never get hit. And then I'll read a name that I haven't seen since 2012. And I just don't even understand how the algorithm manages to figure that out. But you know, it is special.
Why did Twitch gift more? We
September,
added 20
I think after like there's some benefits to gifting right now because we're still in September or something along those lines.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I got to sell out tomorrow then, it seems.
Yeah. But
Wow.
God bless me,
Thanks,
Alex.
Meows.
God damn.
That's huge. I mean, that's like 100 turned into 130.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
Wow.
I do want to backpedal to that internet thing for a second because somebody in chat did remind me of something and I use it myself. There are apps that you can get for your phone that will allow you to see wireless bands and where your various parts of your network, which bands they're occupying. And if you have either neighbors or even your own, and too many of them are occupying the same wireless bands, you will get like crosstalk and it will be horrible. You have to start like selecting different bands for your points to get them out. You know, it's like get them out of congested zones. It might even be what's happening right now that you might be able to solve just by doing that. The Blainer, if you could get an item of any game in real life, what would it be? An item in any game.
I'm going with a lightsaber, man. A real lightsaber. That shit's fire. Super dangerous. Super dangerous. Like imagine just having a lightsaber. Yeah, imagine just having a real lightsaber. Like imagine they sold those things.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
people would be dismembering themselves constantly.
All the time.
Oh yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
No question.
But I think it'd be pretty fucking cool. Ooh, a portal gun. That's a really cool one too.
That's a good choice. Shit.
But lightsaber's so crazy. I mean, you could literally slice through anything. Like,
that's true.
I mean, what a weapon.
Fuck. I want to choose something that could be like more actually obtainable. I would like the double-barreled shotgun from Doom.
You could probably buy one of those.
One of the greatest sounding guns in video game history is the double-barrel shotgun from Doom. The reload on that is one of the most satisfying sounds in gaming. So I will say the double-barrel shotgun from Doom.
All right.
Let's see here. Last question comes in from Jackie. What did you guys end up doing for Adam's bachelor party? I didn't have one. I didn't have time. I literally did not have time for a bachelor party. I was running rampant right up until 15, 20 minutes before Jeff was there. He saw it. Just before the wedding.
Listen, if I couldn't throw Adam a bachelor party, I had to get him something. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way.
Jeff bought me a barbecue, which I have been using.
Yeah, that's what's up. And once everybody's not sick in your house and my house, we'll come over for a barbecue. But right now, it's
it'll
not
be
a good
December.
Time, I'll tell you that.
I'll be barbecuing in the snow.
Why not?
But yeah, I didn't want one. I'm not a party guy in the first place. It's just not my gig. So, you know, at first Jeff said, why don't we just go out for steak or something? And I was down for that. And we ended up like in a roundabout way. It was a barbecue. It's steak. It's related. Cost about as much as going to the cut. So why not make it a barbecue, I guess?
Last time I went to the cut, I literally spent $700.
Exactly.
For 2 people.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So the barbecue, just to steal, but you can get infinite steaks off of that barbecue.
That's it. It's
the way it goes. So, you know, I was down for that. I went out with my my cousin Ben. We went out and just grabbed a bite and a beer. I did the same with Hun when he was here because I hadn't seen him in person in like 7-8 years. So we went out for like an hour because he had his kids here, so he could spare like an hour. And I didn't even go with Brian. We had best man and Brian and maid of honor, but they were there like they were there in spirit because they didn't do anything. They didn't even hold the rings, for God's sake. They didn't even like hand the rings. Like the parents had the rings. There was just Brian and Roxanne standing there in the background awkwardly for like for the ceremony, and then they signed the paper as like the thing, and that was the show.
I was so in the middle of your wedding. I was so relieved that you did not have a bunch of dudes standing behind you. Because
you would have been ripped. You would have been ripped the whole time.
Well, and it would have just taken away from the whole thing, and I probably would have just left, which would have been even more awkward, and like sat down somewhere, which would have been horrible, dude. Would have been horrible. So it worked out.
That's so funny. Yeah, like that. Well, the joke was, you know, we had such a small wedding, and most of the people that were there were like family and close friends that we knew within reason could be there. Like I never expected Hun to be there. First of all, I sent him an invite. You know, out of respect. But I didn't think he'd actually come down and fucking fly all the way out here for it. But, like, both of us sat down and were like, well, we only have, like, 30 people at this wedding, including us, if we count us, and my mother, who was officiating. Like, 30 people. You know, if we have people standing in this wedding, there's not going to be anyone in the fucking seats. It's just going to be, like, everyone's going to be up standing in front of the wedding, and there'll be, like, empty seats out in front of us. There'll be, like, 10 people left out in the audience. And so we just said, you know, we'll just do one of the, you know, the just basically who we need for signing papers. And then that was the show. And we knew we weren't doing like any of the other things that you would normally do with having a best man or a maid of honor. And so it was just easy to do it that way. And I will say this, people should take the opportunity to do that shit because it made the wedding so much simpler. Just fuck tradition. Fuck.
Make your own tradition.
Fuck tradition. Make your own tradition. Because that shit made life so much, like, loose, not having, like, everyone praised our wedding because everyone kept saying it was, like, other than the weather and stuff being perfect, it didn't feel so much like a wedding. It was kind of loose. Everyone didn't feel like they were on a military schedule. It was just kind of like people could just chill. We had places and stations set up for people to, like, do whatever they wanted after the ceremony was done. It was whatever the fuck. That's the way to go. Fuck all this, like, you know, there's got to be 300 people, 9 hours long, the 2-hour-long ceremony, and then you've got, like, military schedule, like, pictures and eating time and drinking time and whatever the fuck all that. Just, you know, keep it a little bit on the small side and have a good time. That's what I would suggest. How did we even get there? Oh, the bachelor party. Yeah, no, I never had one. Em just had a little gathering with her girlfriends. They just hung out. That was it. Nothing fancy there. There were no dicks. She was very, you know, she didn't get to see any dicks. Although she does, sidebar, she has a coworker who's older than she is. She's in like her 40s, I think. And this and Jeff would know this because Kayla was in you know, not a nurse necessarily directly, but related. That whole field, they're all like crazy. Like they're all fucking sexual deviants. Every fucking one of them. I don't know what it is about nurses, but they're all anyway.
There's stereotypes about nurses for a reason.
For a reason. Yeah. So anyway, this coworker is crazy. She's dating a guy right now. And just been showing off this dude's dick to all of the coworkers because she's got this guy is apparently wielding a baseball bat for a fucking dick. Just massive. She said in public, I can't do any PDA because if he even gets a little bit excited, everyone's gonna fucking see this dick. It's fucking like Mandingo dick. So she's been like showing everyone in the office like, hey, look at my boyfriend's fucking enormous cock.
Fuck. That's great. Wow.
And then there's another coworker who has the opposite problem where her boyfriend's not batting shit. And so there's like two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Can you imagine if that was a dude? Like, yo, look at my chick's vagina.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, people would be like,
what are you doing?
I got to make a couple of phone calls here. But hey, if you got the Drake snake, let it slither, I guess.
Oh, shit. But yeah, if it is like some Mandingo shit, I was like, well, goddamn, good for her. You know, she's coming into work, can't walk. Shit's crazy.
Needs a nurse.
Yeah. It's true. Nurses do be crazy. They're a special breed for a reason. Anyway, I digress. That's gonna be it. We're gonna go and record some StarCraft, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending some time. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. We will be back next week for more Technical Alpha, but as I said, we got to go and do some StarCraft recording, so we're going to leave you on that one, and until we see you guys next week, thank you once again. Check out in the description, actually, if you made it all the way to the end, you're probably going to be of the group that would want to be on the Discord. The link to the Live TV Discord is in the description below of this video. We're also putting it in the description of basically all the other videos that we're putting out now as well, if you don't see it here. And then, of course, as well, the current campaign link is in the description below as well. Go and join the ranks, and you know, join the most incredibly well organized group of video game degenerates ever assembled, and take on yet another video game community. Until we see you guys next week, stay safe and peace. Peace.